Welcome to another episode of the SOWCAST State of the Wizards. I am your host, K. Jose. How's it going this evening? And I'll also represent DC Hoopla with the Voices of the Unheard. I have a special guest tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of Mystics today. Normally we talk Wizards on here, but we're going to cover the Mystics. They got an upcoming draft. So I got my man right here, Delano from the FanWire Podcast. How you doing this evening, brother?
Hey, all is well. All is well. I appreciate you having me on your platform.
All right, I definitely appreciate you coming up here. Normally it'd be me and a buddy of mine. His name is Wiz Tex. He'll be coming back on pretty soon. But first, if this is your first time listening or watching the channel, definitely want to welcome you. If you're a normal person that comes here, or should I say a normal guest, welcome back as well. You can follow me at DC Hoopla on X. You can also find us at State of the Wizards also on X and IG. Delano, tell them how they can find you, bro.
You can find me on YouTube at the FanWire Podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook sometimes. Everything under the same tagline of the FanWire Podcast.
All right. So before we even get started talking about this upcoming draft, I know you say you do Mystics content, so that's all you do. When did you decide that you want to go in and cover the Mystics? Because you know there's not really a lot of content creators out there speaking about the Mystics.
Yeah, it's very few. I'm probably like the one and only one that's dedicated to the Mystics, at least for right now, right? You never know what could come in the future. But I got started not this Christmas, but the Christmas before. I literally started a channel and was like, hey, I'm going to get on here and talk about sports in the DMV. But then it was like, hey, I focus more on the Washington Mystics, so let's go ahead and just run it up with the Washington Mystics.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. What's interesting is that when I started my channel, DC Hoopla, about 5 years ago that I think about it, I covered the Wizards and I was also covering the Mystics. Normally on State of the Wizards, majority of the time, all of our content, it is about the Wizards, but we're going to do a little bit of an uptick on covering the Mystics as well. Been a fan of the Mystics ever since they started back in 1990. Was it 97 or 98? It's been so long. But been a fan, gone to plenty of games. Haven't gone to a Mystics game in a long time. So definitely want to get down there this summer. From my understanding, the tickets are already sold out, or they damn near sold out. So definitely planning to look at, check out the Mystics. So you know what? Let's go ahead and get into it. We got to talk about this upcoming draft. The Mystics got 3 first-round picks. So what I'm going to do is share my screen for, one of the mock drafts I've seen. This one, it's actually recent. So I want to say this one is like from 3 days ago.
Okay.
And you can see this right here. So this is from a website called wbound.com. And this is the first round in the mock draft. So they got the Washington Mystics selecting Olivia Miles, which is not a bad pick. That's actually a great pick, by the way. Some people will probably question it because we already got Georgia Amore. We haven't seen her play. But Olivia Miles, man, her court vision is just ridiculous. She betted on herself because everybody was like wondering, well, why the hell would she do the transfer portal? Like she was going to be a top 2 pick last year, and it turned out it worked in her best interest. But looking at this mock draft, tell me what you think about it, man.
I'm not opposed to getting Olivia Miles. Like you said, her court vision is elite, is top level. She can definitely open up the offense, especially when it comes to Shakira Austin, Kiki Irfan, and Sonny Citron, right? But I will say this. On the flip side, there are some deficiencies in her game.
Okay.
And that's her defense. She don't play no defense.
That is true.
So you will have to literally hide her on the defensive end. But her offensive end, she gonna light it up. And she can shoot a 3. So I wouldn't be mad at that pick. It's going to be hard for her to fall, especially with the way she's been playing in March Madness.
I agree. So when I'm looking at this draft, this mock draft here, the one pick that I do agree with is the number one pick. To me, I think it's a no-brainer for Dallas to go with AZ Fudd. The way AZ Fudd has been playing, she had went 8-for-11 from downtown. I think that was on Sunday that she did it. Or was that Monday when she played? I mean, when UConn played. I think it was Monday. But she had 34 points. I mean, to me, it makes the most sense for Dallas to take her. The number 2 pick that they got here with the Lynx, I don't really agree with that. I think Minnesota could do either two things. They could either draft Olivia Miles, which they need a guard, or they can go for a center. True, absolutely. But I think for Minnesota that wants to win now because they got Fee, I think they're gonna bring back Dejanay Carrington. I believe she's a free agent. I'm not too sure. I think Courtney Williams, she's a backup, so I don't know her situation. So when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking Olivia Miles makes the most sense for Minnesota, but they can't go wrong if they take Lauren Betts, which goes to Seattle. To me, they already got their big in Malunga, so I would think that they would go with a guard. What you think about that?
For pick number 3 with Seattle, I think that this draft is we really don't know what's going to happen, right? Because one thing that we got to factor into all of these picks is 95% of the league are free agents. So we don't know where anyone's going to be. So, but if everything pretty much stays the same, I don't see Olivia Miles getting past Seattle, to be honest.
I agree.
Because I don't see her going number 1 because you got AZ Fudd, but she also can throw a strong consideration for Lauren Betts, right?
I agree with that too.
And number 2 with Minnesota, like you said, our fam, I like her game. I like what she can do, especially at being at the age of 19 and 6'4". I think that she can develop into something in the future. But just like you said, Minnesota's on a track for win right now. I don't see that happening. Now, like we said, it's going to be tough for Olivia Miles to slip to Washington. So that leaves, I think Seattle's going to take Olivia Miles, and then coming back to Washington, it could be Lauren Betts or it could be somebody else.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. So, I think number 1 and number 2 is going to determine how the way the draft goes. It really depends on Dallas. If Dallas, here's the thing, and I read this some months back that they said that Paige Beckers was probably going to have some input on this draft selection. So let's be, it's a no-brainer. First of all, AZ Fudd is her girlfriend. AZ Fudd is also her former teammate. They got chemistry together on the court. They play beside each other. So AZ Fudd can play off the ball. Paige Beckers can still play the point guard, or it can be a switcheroo where Paige Beckers can play off ball. AZ can play the point guard. I mean, either way, that backcourt will cause havoc for years to come. So I would think it makes sense that Dallas would take AZ Fudd. However, they can't go wrong with Lauren Betts, but I don't know if Dallas would take Lauren Betts at number 1. So here's when we come to the Washington Mystics. I've kind of opened up and to accepting Lauren Betts if she's the pick, but the only issue that I have with Lauren Betts is she doesn't spread the floor because she's not an outside. She's not a stretch big. Plus, 2, she's slew foot. So when she's running up and down the court, she's not that quick. And and Sidney Johnson said last season he wants to be a running team. We want rim runs. Lauren Betts is not that. So if our fam is able to fall to us, she would be perfect because we're rebuilding right now. And we will allow her to develop. Maybe we sign ourselves a veteran big, somebody like a Darica Hamby, or maybe spin the block again and go and get Tina Charles. I doubt that she would come back, but you can get yourself a veteran big man while you let our fam develop. I think that makes the most sense. But again, it all depends on what Dallas and Minnesota does. I'm going to unshare my screen.
Yeah, let me throw another. Let me throw something in there. We might not draft a big with number 4. We could swing for upside with a Flage, or we can go in a different direction. Could even be bringing the local talent of Kiki Rice back. It could be one of those things. But when it comes to, like you said, I agree. When it comes to Lauren Betts, I know we're going to be focusing in on getting Shakira back because she's a restricted free agent. Once we sign her, then we will be drafting a backup at 4. I think that's a waste of a pick to me.
So you mentioned Shakira a lot. I'm gonna say this, based off of what she said in her exit interview, it sounds like she wants to explore her options. As you know, they had the new CBA. Players are going to get way more money. She also said she would like to play with players that have won. Well, technically, right now we don't have any players that have won, and I'm going to assume that she's talking about one championship. So we don't have that. So we're going into a kind of we're rebuilding. Shakira is actually a solid player. I don't see her as a starter, in my opinion. And the thing is with Shakira, I just think that she may want to change the scenery, and if she does, it's fine. I think with this front office, they can easily use her value, get more assets. But if you're getting Lauren Betts, let's just say we managed to get Lauren Betts. Lauren Betts is a plug and play type of center right off the top. I wouldn't think that if we would draft her for her to be coming off the bench. Our fam, yes, I could see that. Let's say we bring back Shakira, you have a start, you're developing our fam, but our fam will be considered the future. But if you go and get Lauren Betts, who's kind of pro ready right now, I don't know when it comes down to Shakira. And here's another thing, man, when it comes to Shakira, man, bro, she got cooked a lot last season. Like Tina Charles, took her lunch. Darica Hamby took her lunch. I mean, she even got her lunch taken from Alyssa Thomas, and Alyssa Thomas is shorter than she is. So it's the inconsistent play that I kind of look at, and she hasn't really been healthy either, except for this past season. I'm just a little bit not too keen on bringing her back, but if she does come back, I would prefer her to be kind of like in a reserve role, and because I know with her and Kiki, that paint is clogged up because they both have to play in the post. Shakira is not really reliable when it comes down to stepping out and shooting the long 2 or the 3. She likes to go in and play in the paint. But, I guess it is what it is if it turns out that way. I think free agency is after the expansion draft. I believe this expansion draft is like next week, if I'm correct. And we got to see what happens with that situation.
Yep, next Friday.
Yeah.
I got a difference of opinion on Shakira's game. I think that she's the heart and soul of the team. She brings the fire to the lineup, right? Also, when we look at her game, she still is one of the top block leaders in block shots in the WNBA, right? But also, when it comes to her ability to move without the ball, she's a very mobile big. So I think that really sets her apart, and that's gonna make her valuable in free agency. Like you said, there's a possibility that she can go to greener pastures, right? But I think that we're gonna try to make sure that she stays in the fold.
Yeah, it's a possibility that they probably would do that. So who would you like to see the Mystics draft at number 4? Because you said they may not draft a big. So who would you like to see them draft?
Initially, before the college season started, I was all in on Flage Johnson out of LSU, right? Because she's a wing. She can fill the void that we now have. at the wing player because we traded Brittany Sykes. They have similar types of games, right? But I think that Flau'jae is more explosive, right? But you also were able to see this season that when she's on, but when she's not, it's bad.
I agree.
Right? So, and also, not sure how, General Manager Jamila Wyman and the executives with the Washington Mystics are going to look at the outside voices that are really inside voices.
Yeah.
When it comes to Flau'jae's camp, right? So, all those things are going to be factored in. So that kind of changed my perspective, right? Lauren Betts would be a good pickup if, like we said, if Shakira's gone, right? Because we're going to need a big that can actually do it. But just like what you said, if you bring in Lauren Betts, the offense changes, the defense changes, everything changes, right? Everything's going to be slower, right? Now, because she reminds me of what's the center from Chicago that plays with Angel
Cardoso.
She reminds me of her, but with a better offensive bag and a better motor, right? I wouldn't be mad if the Washington Mystics actually traded the pick just to move down just a little bit, not a lot. Move down a little bit, and we're able to get some more draft picks later on down the line. I wouldn't be mad at
that. Okay. So for me, it's either if Lauren Betts is there, take her. If somehow, some way, our fan falls down, take her. We need a big. Besides Kiki, we're not really a good rebounding team. So we definitely need more rebounding in the worst way. We definitely need rim protection in the worst way. What I can say about Lauren Betts that I was impressed with so far in the tournament is you can't teach height. So she's very good at moving her feet. She can time her blocks. Of course, she's going to rebound the basketball. She has a very good touch around the rim. But her flaw is she doesn't stretch the defense, and she's not very. She's mobile, but she's just not quick. She's not a quick guard. I mean, quick big. What I'm used to seeing, bigs. Let's take it to the NBA. You look at a guy like Wemby, at his height, how fluid he moves at his height. I look at Lauren Betts. I said to my man Eric, I said, you know what, man? I said you need to. I said the Mystics need to actually have Lauren Betts and Stephanie Dolson race each other and figure out who's the fastest between them two. Because Stephanie Dolson can't run either. They both run like they got cement shoes. So, if we're trying to run up and down the gym, running teams out of the gym, that's not going to happen if you have Lauren Betts. That's the only one of the two flaws that I have with her. But, either Fam or Betts if they fall. So we're picking 9th. In this draft. This is where it's going to get pretty interesting. Who would you like to see the Mystics draft at number 9?
Okay. I would say this. If Flau'jae drops due to all of the things we said, we got to get her at 9, no matter what, right? We can figure everything else out, right? But, I wouldn't be mad if Kiki Rice is available to us and we're able to get her at 9. Because then that solves your combo guard issue, right? You also have a player that can potentially run the point like a Veronica Burton at size. Because let's say if Georgia Amore comes back and she's 100%, which we know she's not because of injury, right? If we can get Kiki Rice on the team that can help take that load off, and then if it's a bigger lineup that we're playing against, we can have Kiki in the game, and that can help with defensive load. Because, at Georgia Amore size, they're going to pick on her.
Right, that is true.
Yeah.
That is very true. Okay. So if we're picking at 9, and if we were to go for a point guard, it's interesting you said Kiki Rice. And I probably she's a little bit shorter, but there's a reason why. I like I was saying I probably would go with Raven Johnson out of South Carolina. She's 5'9", but Raven Johnson has been impressing me as well in the tournament. Within the last several weeks, she's playing defense. Like South Carolina, you don't really even, and there are times when Raven Johnson will give you 20, 25 points, maybe about 8 assists, and maybe about 3, 4 steals. But she's playing defense. Now, that's something that Don Staley preaches down there in South Carolina. So I wouldn't oppose of getting Raven Johnson just in case, I would say this, you have her and you have Georgia Amore compete for that starting position. I think Georgia Amore is going to win it based off of the fact that she got a little, she got a bag. We got to see what she can bring to this team and, talking about running up and down, but Raven Johnson can run up and down the court as well. But defensively, to kind of go back to what you said when you talk about Georgia Amore, about teams going to pick on her defensive wise. We won't see that if you got Raven Johnson out there. Matter of fact, you could have her and Raven Johnson play on the court at the same time. You could pair them two together where Raven Johnson can be the one that played defense on the best player. Like if we're playing against Indiana, you put Raven Johnson on Caitlin Clark and just let her harass all night. So I probably would take I would take Raven Johnson at number 9 if she's there. I think Kiki is going to be gone. Kiki Rice, I think she'll be gone before we get to 9. You mentioned about Flage. I don't know if I'll take her there either.
You'll let her walk in
there? I'll take Tamaya Lotson over her before I take Flage. It's just everything you said as far as that. The outside noise.
Mm-hmm.
That is a concern because I was also concerning for me with Flage last year. I was like, you know what? She's looking pretty damn good, man. She looks like she's going to be that player that's going to take it to that next level. But this year, because you got Fulawali there, and what's the old girl's name that's there at LSU?
Michaela Williams.
Yeah, Michaela Williams. Them two kind of like overshadowing Flage. So my thing is, she's looking more like a third option on a team. She wants to be like the number 1 option, but when it's time for her to step up, and yeah, I know she played real well this past Monday. I think it was Monday when they played. That was their last game at LSU. I know she played very good, but the thing is, she's so inconsistent. And when you really need her to step up, she doesn't. So that's one of the concerns that I would have with getting a Flage. Is can she be consistent enough to step up? Like you can't sit there and try to be the superstar. And when it's time for you to do it, you just don't show up, And then, of course, when you got your mom going out on social media, crashing out, saying the things that she's saying, I'm like, okay, well, which one, what do you value more? Do you want to be this great player? Do you want to be the superstar rapper? Do you want to be this, person getting these endorsements and all this stuff? Like you trying to get out of Angel Reese's shadow, you struggling to get out of her shadow. You still in it. So that's my concerns when it comes down to Flage.
Now, when you brought up Tanaya Layton, I like her too.
Mm-hmm.
She's solid.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that she can score the ball if she had more volume of shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she can play D. She will pluck you and take it to the other end like it's nothing.
Exactly.
So let me add that pick in there too. Add that in the 9 too. Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. I like that one.
All right, man. So number 11 is the last pick they'll have in the first round for the Mystics anyway. The Mystics' last first round pick. I guess you probably just go for best player available, or maybe you go for need. I don't know. But who would you like for them to take at number 11? Maybe it might be somebody you think is probably going to be a project. I don't know.
Now, this player right here has surprised me this season. We're talking about a player that's 6'6", that's mobile, that got dog with her when she played down.
I know where you going. I know who you talking about.
And she went out there and started shooting 3-pointers.
I know who you talking about.
Who I'm talking about?
Talking about Medina Ocon.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed. I
Mhm.
think that she's gonna be one of those sleeper picks of this draft.
I agree. I agree. If you don't get your big at number 4, and she's still there at to be honest with you, bro, I'll probably take her at number 9. I wouldn't want to risk. I wouldn't want. I'll take her if she's there at number 9. Take her. You're right. Everything you're saying about Ladina Okot, she's rebounding the basketball, sets good picks. Now she's stepping out shooting the 3. You don't necessarily need to make plays for her, run plays for her. Girl gonna get you about 15 and 15. She just, and she's still, I don't know, what's she been playing basketball? Like 2,
6
3
years.
years?
6 years.
6 years. So she's still learning at the same time. And she's also a rim runner. So she's not gonna slow the offense down. And
she's Shakira Austin with a 3.
Yeah. And a better rebound.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what, man? Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was waiting to see if you was gonna mention her, but I agree with you. Who's your sleeper? Who's a player that you wouldn't mind taking that we didn't talk about? Because I have one in particular. But who would you mind not? Who would you mind the Mystics take if, let's say, some of the players we talked about are gone? Let's say they're still there at 11.
And we talking about pick 11. I kind of like. I can get to my list here. Gabrielle Jaquez. Kind of like Gabrielle Jaquez because she's a wing. She's not slow-footed. She can shoot the 3. She can play some defense. She has basketball in her blood. Her brother played for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as a pick. Also, I would say this player, if she can get her head on right, Janai Barker.
Okay.
If she can get her head on right. But if we get her in the second round, that might be a good fit. But I'm just gonna stick with Gabrielle Jaquez for right now. Who you got?
All right. So at number 11, I'm gonna go with I actually will go with Cody McMahon out of Ole Miss. Now Cody McMahon, in my opinion, she could be like another Alyssa Thomas. She's a bully, grab rebounds. She can put the ball in the hoop. The only thing is she has to work on is her 3-point shot. I was watching her on Monday. They lost, but one thing I noticed, I said, you know what? That's an old girl gonna skip leg day. Like you could tell, like she's solid. So she's not, and she has a high motor. So she's not a player that people are going to be pushing around. And we need more players on this team that have a high motor. So she's one. The draft that I'm looking at, they got her falling in the second round. They got her going to the Sparks. But I wouldn't mind us getting Cody McMahon. Cody McMahon, in my opinion, could be maybe this year's version of Anissa Morrow. I think Anissa Morrow might be a slightly better rebounder, but for the I wouldn't mind if she was there. The Mystics could get her like at number 11. She wouldn't be bad at all.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at it because just like you said, you imagine her running on the wing, and let's see if we can get Olivia Miles, or if we get the point guard play that we would want to see from Georgia Amore or whoever we have at point guard, right? Imagine her running down the wing and how explosive that would be. Ain't nobody will get in front of that. Nobody.
That is true.
She's like Ron Artest with wheels.
Exactly.
And, with a better head on her shoulders, So, yeah.
That's a good point. So in the second round, and then we'll wrap it up after this one. So the Mystics are picking 4th in the second round. That'll be with like 19th. I'll say who I wouldn't mind us taking with that pick. I wouldn't mind us taking Sarah Williams out of UConn. 6'4". She's a forward/center. You could play her behind Kiki. You could also play her behind whoever our big is. She's a shot blocking big. She'll grab rebounds, and of course, she'll score garbage points. But I think that would be a steal for the Mystics if she falls into the second round, which I believe she most likely will. What do you think, bro?
I wouldn't be mad at that pick either. But another pick that I like, Lonnie White out of Utah.
Mm.
She can get the cooking.
Mm.
She a 3-level scorer, and she got roots to the DMV.
Okay.
Her pops is Rodney White.
Right.
So, I'm a homer. I want my home team to be filled with the local products, But at the same token, she can ball, and she can play the wing, and she can also play the 2. So that's who I like at that pick.
Okay. So that's not bad then. Okay. So we definitely talked about a couple, quite a few players that we like. I mean, we'll just have to find out what the Mystics do come on the 16th of April. And I look at it this way, man. To be honest with you, the Mystics are playing with house money. I mean, he got 3 first-round picks. I don't think they can do anything wrong. I mean, this current regime, this brand new regime, they knocked it out the park last year. I can't see why they won't do it again this year. Like I said, it all depends on what Dallas does, what Minnesota does. I mean, I think the Mystics, I know for a fact they're going to come out with 3 great players for this team to go along with Sonia Citron, Kiki, Georgia A. Moore, and whatever players we get during free agency. We're going to have more players that can come in. And then when we talk about the second round, we might get somebody else that can contribute right away who possibly was a first round pick, but they just happen to slip into the second round. I don't think the Mystics can go wrong.
I don't think so either, because we got 2 second rounds and we got a third round.
Right.
Right. And just like you said, with the way free agency is shaping up to be, who knows what we can be. But I don't think we're going to be active in free agency, because I think we're really waiting for our star to come to the team in 2027.
Okay. So before we end it, let's talk about that very briefly.
Okay.
So we talking about that pick swap in 2027. Even if we're actually a good team, the hope is that Chicago goes back.
Chicago.
And Chicago go backwards, because I think for real, they just need to go ahead and separate ties with Angel Reese. They screwed that whole situation up. So just go ahead and trade her, get whatever picks you can get for her, because you done already gave up your future. But if Chicago happens to be bad, they win that number 1 pick, we use that pick swap, we already know who's coming to town.
Juju.
Yes. Yeah. And if it's not her, let's say we get the 3rd pick, you can go get Hannah Hidalgo out of Notre Dame. You're not going wrong there either.
Match her back with Sonia.
Exactly.
Imagine our defensive squad if we got those 2. We the best defensive team in the league.
Absolutely. And then if you have Juju being matched up with Kiki, oh man, like, I feel bad for defenses, because you once you cheat and focus on Juju, you got Sonia Citron that's going to light you up.
Every
depending
time.
on who we draft. If it's somebody like I don't know, if we did get Medina Okot, and Medina Okot continues working on that 3, she gonna light you up. I mean, the sky's, and then Juju, come on, man. I mean, Juju is like next level. People talking about Caitlin Clark. You ain't seen Juju. Juju is next level, and that's really what the prize is. You're hoping. You're hoping that Chicago is so bad that they get that number 1 pick, and we take that pick swap. You get Juju. If not, if it's a number 3 pick, you go get Hannah Hidalgo. We playing with house money.
Yeah. Or if it comes down to it, we can get Madison Booker, Kevin Durant in the making.
Exactly.
We, like you said, house money. We went in. It's just a matter of time.
It's just definitely a matter of time, man. Well, man, that will actually conclude this episode of the podcast of the SOWCAST. You want to give any shout outs before we go ahead and end it?
Hey, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. It was a pleasure being on the platform. I know we're going to be chopping up a whole lot more because this season going to be great, you know? So definitely want to have you come on my platform as well. And, one more thing. If you're not busy on April 13th, which is draft night, we're holding our second annual draft party. You know, everybody's welcome. It's definitely a Washington Mystic family type of situation. But if you're a fan of another team, hey, pull up too. And let's celebrate what's going on. And, let's see who we get with this draft,
All right. You heard the man said if you are not busy, go on down there. Where's it going to be at the draft party? Where's it?
It's going to be at Tom's Watch Bar. And that's going to be in the Navy Yard. That's right there by the Nationals baseball stadium.
I don't know, man. Them YNs been hanging around fighting and everything down there at Navy Yard, man. No, I'm just.
Hey, it's a Monday. That's a weekend thing. That ain't a Monday thing,
No, man. Well, I don't know, man. Even on a Monday, they can go ahead and get wild on a Monday, though. But yeah, absolutely, go down there, check it out. If I ain't busy, I'll go there. I'll go down there and check that out. So definitely do that. I'll do that. So, man, once again, it was a pleasure you coming on here. And, yeah, feel free to invite me. I'll come over there on your channel with no problem whatsoever, man. Definitely want to thank you for coming up here. Definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in. This concludes the episode. Peace.